Hello, you wonderful, beautiful, and craptastic people. CraptasticJack here. And today, we are here with WoofyHound. Today, we're going to be discussing why the crew is basically dead and shit.
Yeah, what he said.
Yeah, I have
It's
pretzel in my mouth so I can't speak.
yeah, he has many pretzels, but it seems to make his voice a lot coming better through my headphones. I don't know how.
Yeah, I know.
But yes, we are talking about how the crew is, well, basically dying and how it really is. It's not really that good. I wouldn't call it total crap, but it's not really as good as we expected it to be.
It's Garbo.
Uh, yeah. Are these our before we start? Are these our final thoughts? Well, they're not my final thoughts because there's still gonna be more updates, and I'm telling you, if they just added something as simple as a race editor, I would go back into the crew, and I believe me, I would be playing it a lot more than I am now. Is this your final thoughts?
Basically, yeah. I mean, I'm not going to be playing it a lot after
Uh,
this, especially when the next Need for Speed stuff comes out and stuff.
yeah. All right. We're gonna be starting with the massive hype train.
hmm
Yep, we made jokes about the crew and how it was going to be an overhyped game, and apparently those jokes became a reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wish that when on the massive hype train, they hype so much crap up, and then
Yeah,
they never deliver.
yeah, there were a lot of things the developers were saying about the crew, and many things we came to expect from it as well, which
Uh,
weren't present in the final release.
yeah,
This ultimately led to the large proportion of why the crew is disappointing as it is.
yeah, and it's really disappointing. Like we thought we were gonna get this massive open world with it's gonna be like we felt like it was gonna be different in one part of the United States from the other. It's not. The East Coast feels the same as the West Coast. And the only things that are different about them are desert. There's desert and mountains on the West Coast, and on the East Coast there's just forests. It doesn't really make. Other than that, it just feels the same. Same architecture, same everything. It's just plot buildings every 5 feet. It's just really repetitive, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, you're right. It is very repetitive. But you have to give them credit. They definitely did get the Miami place, like the Southern Florida place, very accurate. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
it's about as, like, I used to live down there, not by Miami, but in Florida, and it's pretty accurate for what they did. In fact, that's probably the best place on the map to drive around in, just because it's, you know, like I said, accurate.
yeah. Like there are some accurate places like Las Vegas and stuff that looks pretty accurate, but other than that, a lot of the town, like a lot of the cities, even like Nashville and Tampa, to say the same, they
Uh,
have some of the same buildings, like skyscrapers in them, just the same over and over again. And they're just like a block long. They're like small towns with skyscrapers, and then oop, you're back in the forest. Oh,
Yeah, that is kind of weird. Like a lot of the places in the map are just kind of like jarring cuts between each other. I mean, you have to give them credit. It is, well, it's big, and there's a lot of places that drive around. It's just not really interesting. I mean, there are some places that are very interesting to explore, but for the most part, it just kind of feels all the same.
yeah. They're just repetitive over and over again. And I do realize that resources come into a thing here. You can't have like a giant open world with all different kinds of stuff looking different and the same, and then having massive car lists and graphics. You can't really have that in today's age just yet because we don't have the resources for that in a game like that. However, they promised us something like that. Out there's gonna be this massive car list, and the world's gonna be open, non-repetitive, blah 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 blah. And then, yeah,
Yeah. Now we're gonna move on to number two. Now, even if the world was, with the world like that, if they promised us these two things the way they were, it would be okay. But sadly, we're now going on number two, and this is probably the worst part of the game, in my opinion: the lackluster cars and customization.
oh, we're gonna peel this apart. All right.
Yes, I mean I got a ton of stuff written down here.
Yeah.
You go at it first.
All right. So I'm gonna touch on the car list basically. I do like a lot of the cars in the game. However, a lot of people don't, and I can see why. There's only two Asian cars in the game. Only two tuner cars. There aren't any other tuner cars in the game. and they just refuse to add them. Like in the DLC, they gave us more exotics and muscle cars, and no tuners. Still only 2 in the game. You gotta have like a good balance in the crew. Like I said in my one video, there isn't a good balance of cars in the game. Like take for example, Need for Speed Carbon had a great balance of exotics, muscle cars, and tuner cars. The crew just is all exotic and muscle cars and only 2 tuners. That's not gonna cut it in the game. You see, a lot of the fans of the crew, a lot of people are deserting it because it doesn't have any tuner cars, and a lot of people like to customize JDM, that kind of scene, and the crew just doesn't offer that for them, so they're turning away to games like Forza Horizon 2, and even Drive Club has more Asian cars than freaking... Actually, Need for Speed Most Wanted 2012 has more tuner cars than the crew, so the crew is kind of getting back.
Yeah, it's alright.
Kind of
But I mean to interrupt you.
Oh, yeah.
It actually has 3 tuner cars because it has the Volkswagen Mark 6, Volkswagen Golf Mark 6 GTI, and that is considered a tuner by most people's standards.
Well,
So yeah, it has 3. I mean, you know, that's not any better.
still not even better, but
I mean, although it's a fun car to drive, I can tell you that.
yeah. But other than that, there aren't any other big cars that are good. I mean, like another thing with the car customization, however, is you know how there's perf specs, circuit spec, and street spec stuff like that. They will choose cars that are like the Ford Raptor, which is a truck, the Chevy Silverado, which is a truck. They'll allow them to be made in circuit spec, but they won't have cars like the Lamborghini Aventador as circuit spec. Like it's too like, oh no, we can't have that. What are you, out of your mind? Why would you have an Aventador circuit spec? That just seems crazy. Oh, here's a truck. We'll make it circuit spec for you. That's perfectly fine. Like, that's one of my main gripes with the game. It's just how they do that. There's like, they're just taking random cars and making them a circuit spec. Not many of the cars I like are circuit spec. Most of the cars I like are only perf spec only or street spec only, which is kind of really annoying. So, yeah.
Well, now we're gonna have to now go into the even if there were just these cars in the game again, that would be fine. Even if there are very small amount of cars, but the customization in this game is so lackluster.
Exactly.
Hold on, let me just find. You go while I try to find where.
Alright, so basically the customization in this game is really out. It's all over the place. You know how in old Need for Speed games you would have like body kits, then you had wheels, then you had freaking thing, and then after that you could choose the color of your wheels and paint and stuff like that. In here, it's just body. It's stripped up from front, back, like in Carbon.
It comes down like to this. You go to a car tuner that specializes in what spec you want your car to be. You choose a level you want your car to be. Watch an animation of your car being put together, and if you're lucky, you can actually choose between body kits that all look the same, a spoiler that you can't remove, rims that you can't color or resize, colors that are all preset, vinyls you can't edit in any way, shape, or form. Some cars won't even allow you to do that, and performance upgrades can, though, oh crap, and fenders you can't do anything with because they haven't added those yet, so they're just options that don't do anything.
I think the fenders are only available on those cars that you find with all the parts and stuff, but other than that, yeah, the fenders don't do anything, and that's really just kind of ugh, to be fair. The car customization is just all over the place, and it's really lackluster. Like, they promised us so much with the car customization, saying how this game is based off Underground and the old Need for Speed games, when it really is not. I mean, you have more customization in Rivals, to be fair. I mean, you can't customize your body kits or anything like that in Rivals, but you have a lot more personalization options in Rivals than in the crew. Because you'll end up with people having the same car anyway, even though it's customized a lot in the crew. So.
That has to go with the performance upgrades. I mean, there are performance upgrades, though, but other than a select few, you can't just simply buy them like in most racing games. You have to unlock them through
challenges.
Challenges, which can be pretty annoying. On top of that, you need to be at a certain level to even use these parts. Devs claim that it would take 30 to 45 hours to fully max just one car, which simply isn't true.
Bullshit!
You alright?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Oh wow, that was probably the worst cough I've ever heard. But it takes 30 to 45 hours of gameplay until you reach level 50, and by that time you reach that level, it takes as little as 1 hour to fully max out just one car.
Yeah.
So subpar customization mixed with a small amount of cars, throw on top all the new cars or DLC only, and you get yourself a nice big bowl of disappointment. Speaking about DLC.
Oh shit,
Oh
DLC.
wait, I wasn't supposed to say that last part.
DLC, I swear.
Yeah, we're the DLC and microtransactions.
Crew credits.
Yep, that microtransaction life.
Or my crew transactions.
Oh yeah, microtransactions. That makes it all the better. I remember watching Angry Joe, well, the Angry Joe show, and he was calling it. There were CC points, and he called them the corporate commander points.
Yeah, Jim Sterling came up with the word crew, my crew transactions.
That's
That's
hilarious.
pretty good.
But you go with the DLC and microtransactions because I haven't spent any more than $60 on this game.
Oh, okay. Like, I bought the season pass, which I kind of regret doing. Like, I bought it for YouTube when I ended up not even, like, making any videos on. Like, I made 2 on the DLC cards, and I just got bored. But basically, the reason I bought the season pass because I thought it was gonna be great. This game's gonna be great. I know it's gonna be great, and the DLC pack's just gonna make it even better. When nah. Subpar game adding cars, and I feel bad. I feel legitimately bad for buying the season pass because I was supporting a game that shouldn't be supported. It's not a good game. It's not a game that you should support, and I supported it even more than I had to. Instead of just paying the $60 for it, I could have just stayed there. Instead, I bought the season pass, which was $25. One of the cheaper season passes, but still. And I got like 3 cars per month. It's like unlocking a car or them adding a car in every 3 months. I mean every month. What am I saying? But they just added the cars in like they were already in the game. I swear they already were in the game. They were in the game files, and they just added them throughout the month. Like Ubisoft just goes and like, oh, yeah, those cars gotta go. DLC. We gotta have a season pass. They just do that shit. And then they even have the fact that in one of the DLC things, they had a Mazda in there, but they took it out and replaced it with an Alfa Romeo, and basically locked us out of a RX-7, which is a car a lot of people want. But no, who would rather have an RX-7 who would have a RX-7 rather than the Alfa Romeo car thing? Ugh. I'd rather have that RX-7, even though I'm a more exotic type of guy. I'd rather have that RX-7 and customize the shit out of that. Oh wait, there are no customization options. I apologize. But just the fact that they did that, just really, ugh. I just got a bad taste in my mouth whenever I play the crew now. And the fact that it crashes a lot on my PC because it's really badly optimized just makes it even worse. Right now, the best racing game out there is modded Need for Speed 2005. Because you can have an Acura Integra in that game.
I have an Acura Integra and SLRR, but I'll tell you about that later. They're now going to go on to the fourth topic, which I forgot to write down because of stuff and things, and that is the story. Very,
Shit.
very boring,
Craptastic
dull.
story.
No, man. Craptastic is too good of a name
Oh.
for this story. This story, I mean, I'm gonna explain it to like this. Think of Need for Speed Undercover story, and which was meh at the best, and then make it worse than it already is.
Yeah.
And that's what you get the crew story. You play as Alex, who is part of the 510s, and he does this street race that takes like less than 5 seconds to do. Then his brother gets shot by Colburn, and
Evil guy.
I can't.
Alright, basically, this is how the story goes. Alex is a street race guy. His brother runs this 510 thing. They win a race. He takes him to this guy. He gets shot. The feds come. They're like, hey, you did this. No, I didn't. And then he gets sent to jail for 5 years. And this other FBI chick's like, I believe you. Let's go. Takes him to a car place. He gets a car. Starts being illegal street racing. Basically doing everything he did before, except that he's undercover FBI agent. So it's all right. And then he goes for part. Okay, I want you to go to this place. Do the same thing there. Okay, I want you to go to this place. Do the same thing. Okay, I want you to go to the other side of the country and do the same thing. Okay, I did all the things. Did you smash all the boxes that were lined in a single line just specifically for you? Because that's obviously what happens when drug cartels ship their drugs. They just put them in crates along a road. I did that. Great! Now you can take on the guy who killed your brother. Okay. Hey, I'm the guy who killed your brother. I'm gonna kill you. Boom! I missed. How about we race? Okay. Winner takes the throne of whatever I'm a leader of. And then they race. I lost, but I'm not gonna give you the throne. The police come and he's like, oh crap, I need to flee. He flees, and then he chases him in a truck for some reason, and then boom! Right before he hits the border, he gets wrecked. So, and then he drives off in the distance and gives us a poem, because that's all we wanted, is a poem. And then you're allowed to do whatever you want. They're like, hey, we finished with the campaign already. Good boy. Did you know there's faction missions you could do? There's always something happening in the crew. And then, yeah.
I cannot explain it any better if I tried. That was beautiful. I am crying right now. Encore, encore. Oh my, I got that. Oh, I'm sorry, man, but that it just kind of came right out of you. You didn't even take a breath.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. That's kind of the story in a nutshell. Yeah. So, is that pretty much everything? Like, there's some minuscule stuff as well about the crew. Like, there's no weather effects whatsoever.
Yeah.
Which,
I think they did that to save resources.
Yeah. Even though the game's only 15 gigabytes.
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand if I only had 250 gigabytes on my computer. I can understand that would be kind of a problem for anything over 15 gigabytes. But I have right now 381 left, so anything above that, that's totally fine. But yes, no other effects. There's no custom music. You can't add in your own music.
I just put on a Spotify playlist on my second monitor, and then yeah. But other than that,
yeah. There's you know what? Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's kind of why the crew is disappointing. Lackluster customization, overhype. Oh wait, there is one more thing.
What?
The PvP races and just the races themselves.
Oh god, don't get me started.
Yeah. You have this big, massive open world, and you add in a bunch of and you have all these cities that you could compress small races into, and all these open places for giant sprints and stuff. And what do? You make races like you're just you're driving along, and you have to drive from point A to point B. Okay, how far is point A to point B? Why, it's 60 miles. It's gonna take you about an hour to do so, and there's no cops. No other racers. It's just you, and you gotta get from point A to point B, and we'll give you about $30,000, which can get you, I don't know, one upgrade.
Like, if they really wanted to flesh out there aren't even enough races in the game. I'm not even sure you could call it a racing game. Just call it a driving game, to be fair. But overall, what they could have done is in the cities. In order to progress, you could just, become the best street racer in the city, and then you move on to another city across the United States, and then, yeah, you and your crew. So, you could have just done that. Instead, they had to add this shitty little story into the game. They could have just had, there's so many opportunities for illegal street races. There's so many cities. You could have, so many races in the Big Apple. New York, you could have so many races in, Miami and stuff.
You can even have races in really small areas. Like I could probably put a race inside Daytona, all of Daytona.
Exactly, and they could have had the chance to have an illegal street racing scene tuner scene in the cities, but then when you go into like the countryside and the wilderness, you can have like these giant exotic like Lamborghini, Ferrari people racing. And
Oh yeah, no cops in the race. No cops in the race whatsoever.
They could have had. They have cops in the game, but they don't chase you during any of the races except in the campaign, which is rarely actually. Other than that, cops don't barely chase you. They're just kind of there.
I'm slamming into a bunch of people, ramming cars off the road, destroying buildings and stuff right in front of you, and you just sit there and, oh, I accidentally touched you slightly. Everybody get onto him! Get onto him! He accidentally scraped the side of my car! Hey, gotta kill him now!
They just messed up so much shit in this game. It could have been it's literally starting to piss me off how much of a great game this could have been if they didn't if they just didn't make so many shitty decisions. Ugh.
You know, I really thought that they were still listening to the fans when they were after they released the game, like they did during the beta. I didn't really do any research, but they're not.
No, they don't. They aren't.
Then there really is no hope for this game.
Yeah,
I've upgraded to Windows 64-bit. Like I waited ever since I found Black Panther's channel, and he was preaching about how amazing the crew was gonna be, and I was so hyped. I played the beta that kept crashing onto me every 5 seconds because of a 32-bit operating system. I wait until many months later, and then I finally get the 64-bit. I install it, and I'm ready to play it, and I play it for about maybe about 10 or 12 hours doing these story missions, and it was just the downward spiral from there. It's like you giant plane comes into your house and crashes onto you. It just isn't right.
Ugh. Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much why the crew is disappointing.
Oh yeah, and it's just really. I don't even think we could call it disappointing anymore. I think we should call it shit.
You know what? I hate to say it, but he's right.
Yeah.
This game is a piece of fucking shit.
Yep.
Okay.
I think that's all we had to be said.
Yep.
But yes, anyway guys, that's WoofyHound. Be sure to subscribe to his channel. I'll put it in the description if I remember. And be sure to subscribe to me as well because I'm awesome. And my name is Jack, and Jack's an awesome name. But anyway guys, that's all for now. Thank you guys so much for watching. And not really, don't forget to rate, comment, favorite, subscribe. And I'll see you guys in my next video.
Right, what was with the pause?
Oh no, I don't know. But anyway guys, I'll see you guys in my next video. Have a good one.
Okay, so...